Welcome to Professional Perspectives with the Michigan Green Chemistry Clearinghouse and Dr. Stephen Maldonado.
My name is Stephen Maldonado. I'm an associate professor here in the Department of Chemistry at the University of Michigan. My research group works in the area of materials design and synthesis, and in that aspect we're really interested in greener, cleaner ways to make semiconductor materials that are useful for optoelectronics and energy conversion technologies.
What is one design challenge that you've had to overcome using green chemistry?
The challenge with green chemistry is that you have to be able to think about designing reactions and methods that are both cleaner and leaner, but also don't require a lot of energy. And that's a challenge because a lot of reactive stuff tends to be the stuff that's toxic. That's why it's actually reactive. So we've been thinking a lot about essentially how you redesign the rules of how you make some materials like silicon or germanium or technologically relevant semiconductors. We've been thinking about, okay, through the normal processes, we know we have to use these high temperatures and these really awful reactions that produce, halogenated byproducts. If we stick by the script, then we're kind of set by doing it the dirty way. But if we sort of design an entirely different script, then there are new possibilities. And it's sort of figuring out that new angle. That's the challenge.
Do you think there's a benefit to interdepartmental work or research in this space?
Yeah, I think in general for research, most of the stuff that people are working on no longer fit into the sort of traditional categories of only this type of chemistry or physics or engineering, etc. All the stuff now is sort of interrelated. And so I would say all research kind of fits in that area where it's better when people are collaborating and bringing different things to the table. Green chemistry in particular, I think, is important because engineers and chemists who tend to think about different aspects of sort of a long series of chain of events and sort of either product development, etc., don't usually talk to each other, but in the context of trying to make something cleaner and greener from the start to finish, that communication is actually essential.
How can educators get students in other departments involved and interested in green chemistry?
I think from what I found, there is a natural interest and enthusiasm for students to want to work in this area of cleaner energy, cleaner chemicals, cleaner processes. For us, it's as an educator, it's been more of providing a forum for students to kind of latch onto and get involved. It's anytime I advertise for openings for research in my group related to renewable energy technologies or greener material syntheses, I've not had any problem getting students. As soon as you post something, there is always interest. The rate limiting step is just giving these students sort of an advertisement where they can find stuff.
What first piqued your interest in green chemistry?
Well, it's twofold. So intrinsically, I like the idea of making useful stuff but without damaging the environment. I just think intuitively that makes sense and is a good idea, and that's the way we should be operating. Intellectually, I also like the idea of a challenge. I like the idea of doing things differently. I like the idea of reinventing the wheel if there is an advantage to be had. So for me, it's sort of a natural fit.
Are there any common misconceptions you hear about green chemistry?
I think that the two misconceptions would be, like we mentioned before, one, that green chemistry is one thing. And I think it's more of a mindset and sort of a drive, but in practice it could look very different depending on what specific thing you're working on or thinking about. So being a green chemist does not mean that you have one only set of skill sets. You could do very different things. Like I said before, what we do is very different from what other green chemical labs do. So it's very broad. And the second thing I would say is that misconception is either it's too slow to make a difference in at least someone's lifetime or in any time soon, or that it's not practical. And I would argue that both of those things are probably not true. true green chemistry in the sense of innovating something in a better way, if you do it successfully and in the right way, that should lead to very rapid change. Because anytime you identify a new, better way to do something, people are going to want to do that. It's probably going to save them money and it's going to save hassle in the long run, so it's a natural fit. So there's a lot of reason to think that green chemistry can have a lot of impact in the short term. And again, if you figure out a way to do something where you spend less money and produce a lot less hassles down the road, it's going to save people money. So even if people don't care about the environmental aspects, if they care only about the bottom line, people are going to be interested.
Thank you for watching. Please visit migreenchemistry.org for more content and information from the Michigan Green Chemistry Clearinghouse.